Good afternoon, Mr. Beaver here. This is the very first installment of the AOE Leagues Town Watch. We are recapping Week 1. Let's start with Division A. So the 1 seed after the first week of action is and remains Deceptive Cadence. They had a pretty impressive 2-0 performance against Cappy Carrot, taking the first match on Arabia. That was a really great match. I casted that one. A lot of back and forth, but Deceptive Cadence managed to take 3 or 4 really dominant engagements. Game 2 went to Team Islands, where Deceptive Cadence had one player go water, one player land. That game was quite close until the Vikings player on Deceptive Cadence managed to get to Imperial Age quite quickly, took control of water, and the game was basically over from there. So Deceptive Cadence in the 1 seed. In the 2 seed, we have Magia Ipala. They had a 2-1 win over Maris Pipers and Cappy Carrot A. These names in Vision A are going to get really confusing really quickly. But Magia Ipala took the first game on Arabia, lost the second game on Scandinavia, and won the decider on Acropolis. In the 3 seed, we have El Pollo Triste. They had a 2-1 win over Maswi A. Game 1, they took on, they lost on Arabia. And then they won games 2 and 3 on Nomad and Arena. Maris Pipers, the original 7 seed, had a bye week for week 1, so they come in at the 4 seed. And then the rest of the rankings are filled out by Maswi A in the 5 seed, Maris Pipers and Cappy Carrot A in the 6 seed, and finally Cappy Carrot in the 7 seed. Turning now to Division B, Plateau remains in the 1 seed after the first week of action. They had a 2-0 performance against Noobs for Life, winning the first match on Arabia and taking the second match on Team Islands. Coming in at the 2nd seed now, moving up from the 5 seed, is the Berserker Gang. They had a 2-0 victory over Mr. and Mrs., winning the first match on Arabia and the second match in a pretty wild one on Gold Pit. That game had one of the most extreme base trades I think I've ever seen. But Berserker Gang managed to impose a bit more damage on Ted and Hannah than Ted and Hannah were able to impose on them, and eventually were able to win that match. Coming in at the 3 seed is Team Zever B. They're moving all the way up from the 6 seed, and they also swept their opponents. The Team Imposters took the first game on Arabia and the second game on Arena. We had a lot of Castle Age aggression in that one. Spanish and Italians up against Teutons and Koreans. But the Spanish and Italians team ended up pushing through and winning that one. Team Kot comes in at the 4 seed. They had a bye week in week 1. And then spots 5, 6, and 7 are filled out by the teams that did not receive any points in week 1. Mr. and Mrs., Imposters, and Noobs for Life. As for Division C, we have Chiramoyos now occupying the 1 seed. They took a 2-0 admin win over Team Tiger Nope. So that puts them up into the 1 seed. Coming in at the 2 seed is SJWB. They had a 2-1 victory over Mastari Army, losing game 1 on Arabia, but taking games 2 and 3 on Nomad and Steppe. Nomad was a particularly fun one. SJW gave us the pleasure of a Bohemians, Castle Drop, Monk, Siege Push. It was delightful. Coming in at the 3 seed, we have Team Multi-Kill, moving all the way up from the 7 seed. They had a 2-1 victory over Templarios de Maswi. Multi-Kill taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on Nomad, but winning the decider on African Clearing. Coming in at the 4 seed is yours truly. That is my cousin and I, Team Lonely Petards. We took game 1 against the Emu Warriors on Arabia, lost to a really brilliant fast castle water play on Migration in game 2, and managed to squeak out game 3 on Gold Pit. Coming in at the 5 is Templarios de Maswi, Emo Warriors at 6, Mastari Army at 7, and Tiger Nope in the 8 seed. That brings us to Division D. So occupying the 1 seed is Team MCM, moving up from the 4 seed. They had a 2-0 sweep against, and let me be sure to state the entire name, Sean and Sloan are married and are slowly paying off a mortgage on a 2-bedroom bungalow in Scunthorpe. So MCM took a 2-0 victory against that team. I will call them Sean and Sloan for short. MCM taking game 1 on Arabia and game 2 on Acropolis. Coming in at the 2 seed is the Nameless. They had a 2-0 admin win against Kusil and Kat. Ola Dushek, we hope you're well out there in a very gnarly part of the world right now. Coming in at 3 is the Sleeper. They had a 2-1 victory against Infinite Odyssey. The Sleeper taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on African Clearing against just a monster boom from the Indians player, and then taking game 3 on Nomad. Coming in at the 4 seed is Team GBA. They had a 2-1 victory against Nomad D's Nuts. GBA taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on Nomad, makes sense, and taking game 3 on Gold Pit. And then we have PDU coming in at the 5 seed. They had a bye in week 1. And then the 6 through 9 seeds are filled out by the teams that did not earn a point in week 1. Infinite Odyssey, Nomad D's Nuts, Kusil and Kat, and Sean and Sloan. Division E. Coming in at the 1 seed, we have the Respect team. They remain the 1 seed. They had a 2-0 victory against Age of Innsbruck, winning on both Arabia and Arena. The 2 seed also remains in place, Chiramoyo Blando. They had a 2-0 victory against Team DK Moyos, taking games 1 and 2 on Arabia and African Clearing. The 3 seed, moving all the way up from the 6 seed, is Team Free and Keen. They had a 2-1 victory against Templarios del Gintonic. Free and Keen taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on Arena, and winning the decider on Acropolis. The 4 seed is now occupied by the Gods of Egypt. They had a bye week in week 1. And then spots 5 through 7 are filled out by Templarios del Gintonic, Age of Innsbruck, and DK Moyos. And last but not least, we come to Division F. In the 1 seed, moving up from the 5 seed, is Sos Se Puedes. They had a 2-0 admin win against Mascarela. The 2 seed, OBJA, they were originally the 1 seed. They took a 2-1 victory against Ryodan, taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on Nomad, and winning the decider in game 3 on Team Islands. Coming in at the 3 seed and remaining the 3 seed is Los Tercios GG. They had a 2-1 victory against Ryodan Team B. Los Tercios taking game 1 on Arabia, dropping game 2 on Hideout, and taking the decider on 4 Lakes. Coming in at the 4 seed is our original 7 seed. They sat out week 1 with a bye week. That's the Seki Gaming Esports. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then rounding out our 5 through 7 seeds, we have Ryodan, Ryodan B, and Mascarela. thought it might be interesting as well to look at the maps and civs that have been most popular through the first week of action. So focusing on Arabia specifically, we've seen on the Cav side, the most popular civ has been, perhaps unsurprisingly, the Franks, followed pretty closely by the Huns. On the Archer side, and maybe this is a little more surprising, the most popular pick has not been the Britons, it has actually been the Ethiopians, followed by the Britons and the Mayans. As for maps that have been selected as home maps, or at least maps that have been played apart from Arabia, Nomad has been the most popular. There have been 6 games played on Nomad so far. Second most popular has been Arena with 4. And then there's a number of maps. We've had 3 matches on: Acropolis, Gold Pit, African Clearing, Team Islands. The only maps that have been entirely neglected so far is Fortress. That one makes me sad. Regicide would be extremely fun to watch in this tournament. Baltic has also been neglected, as well as Socotra and Mega Random. So 4 maps that have not been played so far in this tournament, but all the others have been played at least once. Finally, I should mention tomorrow, one of our very own will be competing in the quarterfinals of the Return of the Clans tournament. So Anatoph from Deceptive Cadence is on the team Deceptive Baguettes in that tournament. So they made the final 8. They'll be matched up against Swami Team A. And yeah, the winner of that will go on to play the winner of Aftermath and Vietnam Legends. So yeah, I hope you guys can make time to watch that set. Root on Anatoph. Well, that will do it for the Week 1 Town Watch. Happy scheduling and good luck, and have fun in the Week 2 games.